in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it. It is Old School on the Ticket. Austin Norman with you as advertised. No Jay Foreman. So we're bringing in boss man Derek Pearson, DP, sitting in with me. Thanks for doing it, DP. How are you?
Oh, thank you for asking. I appreciate the invitation. You know, we're doing well. You and I have had a day already. Just laughing.
Oh boy,
at some things. And it is the beauty of sports, right? That often it is the story behind the score that makes everything more interesting.
We have bigger than the score. Maybe we need behind the score.
Yeah, it really is the thing. That's actually kind of a thing that some of us are working on for the fall. Going back Husker games of note and going back and the story behind the score is always more fascinating than just X and O. To tell the story of relationships and competition. Sometimes somebody emerges after a tough week of practice that week, finally winning a starting job or whatever it is. Some of the conversations between coaches and players, and then how the fans think a game was working compared to how it was actually playing out. Right, the story. I'm looking forward to having some Husker athletes take us to the week of the Florida championship game. Take me to the practice after Florida State, the first meeting after Florida State. Like what was that conversation? What was
take
that
us
like?
Through Arizona State 96,
right?
End of that season,
right? To go through those moments and have the people who were part of it tell us we all know the score of the game, right? And I think that's important that it has to be a game that we know the score of and we know how it finished. but why?
Mhm.
And I think that and then the consequences, right?
The ripples.
Of what
Mhm.
happened because of those games.
Mhm.
And that's a big part. So I think that's kind of a direction I want to go. And then Harrison and I were talking Monday night, and it really was, it's time, like old school exists, it's real. But we want to do, I forget how we worded it, but something along the line, like a time machine, to go back in time and talk about players and stats that we forget about.
Mhm.
Like we forget, there's so many stories, Husker greats that just because of the nature of the beast, we only talk about the top 1%. We
Mhm.
can't.
Yeah.
We can't. And most people go through that. You think of the top 20 Husker games. Okay, what about 21?
Mhm.
If we asked about, we know the top 10 at each position. What about number 11 and 12?
Who just
Who-
missed honorable
right.
mentions, conversation. Yeah.
Right? There are people who fall in that 10 to 15 conversation who were the best in their era.
Mhm.
I still think the Vince Ferragamo era really needs to be looked at. Like, go deep and let me figure out how this Super Bowl quarterback was handling life here in Lincoln,
In
Nebraska,
Lincoln.
right?
Mhm.
The emergence of Roger Craig as the guy that would become who he became.
Mhm.
I mean, there are folks who had a great career here, but they had a greater career later. Right?
Mhm.
That's
Was Roger Craig's career really so great? He's not even a Hall of Famer, deep.
yeah.
Sorry, too soon.
Somewhere his radar, his spider sense just went off, and he goes, "Oh, they're talking about me in Lincoln again." But I think that those are interesting directions to go. So I think the time machine. We were talking about Frank Layden in his time, right?
Mhm.
That here's a guy that won NBA Coach of the Year and NBA Executive Year. I
Mhm.
mean, you would never hear him on the airwaves. Bobby Dandridge, who was a mentor of mine, one of the great small forwards to ever play in the NBA, and you don't hear people talk about the Greyhound.
Mhm.
There's so many people like that.
Yeah.
That I think, doing a show where we go back. I mean, think about it, Austin. You could do that for the Royals, and that's 150 shows. We're in 2029 before you get caught up again.
Right.
Right. If we talked
Mhm.
about Duke basketball or great college players that we don't talk about. We
Mhm.
talk about Grant. We talk about Bobby Hurley. We forgot about Mark Allery and how
That's
much
the first name I was going to say.
Right, like we forget. But here's another.
Johnny Dawkins.
Right.
Tommy Amaker.
Tommy Amaker, who's been on this station,
Yeah.
right? That
Al Abdelnady.
right. But here's the guy.
Chris Carrawell.
But Jim Spanarkel was the GOAT.
Mhm.
He was the Duke GOAT going into into those
The
years.
TV guy.
Right. Like Jim Spanarkel
Gene Banks.
was a bucket.
Yeah.
Was a bucket.
Mhm.
So I think, we have time, and we have this other thing right near us that will allow us to create more content. And I think people are willing to do extra work to have those conversations. Like I'm never going to have to twist your arm to tell you, go in the studio and give me this week's college hooper that we don't talk about enough, or give me two.
I got one from last week. I'm back
Yeah.
to Okafor. Did you know he averaged 4.7 blocks a game for 3 straight years in college?
Yes, and the fact that well, here's the thing, because I cross streams with him in Charlotte,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
a lot of those conversations were, what's the value of that in the NBA? How was that going to translate and transfer to the NBA?
Mhm.
And then you remember that undersized bigs create a problem. Well, he had a mentor as well. Another one of the more underrated players in NBA history, in college and NBA history, Charles Buck Williams, who was
Very
at
young.
6'8", was the gatekeeper in the NBA. It is legendary to have NBA players tell you, if you took all the NBA players, put them in a bar brawl,
Mhm.
the one guy that they did not want to see was Buck Williams, right? Another
who led to Rodman, who led to Draymond down the line, right?
That Lonnie Shelton was before Buck Williams.
There's always someone before,
right? There's
who did they take inspiration from? Who was the model?
And you could go through and say that if you remember that there's the story of Kevin McHale's telling the story about Lonnie Shelton, 6'8", 260 pound, played small forward for the Sonics, but was actually a typical big defender, right? Think Wes Unseld. But they tell the story of Lonnie Shelton being robbed at knife point outside the stadium. And Lonnie Shelton, being the guy that he is, he's so monstrous that Lonnie Shelton takes the knife from the guy, pummels him, and then sits on him until the cops show up. To the point where when the cops showed up, the guy got up and ran to the cops saying, "Please protect me from this guy. Please save me from Lonnie Shelton." But there's so many really cool dudes in the league. Xavier McDaniel, another guy we don't talk about, Gus Williams, shooters. For Husker sports alone, we can go from players. Again, everybody has their top 10 in any Husker sport or otherwise. Husker coaches. You can name the 10 most famous or most successful Husker coaches. But 11 through 15 takes you some interesting spaces.
I don't know how far up or down the list these coaches are, but let's give a sec to shout out Rhonda Revelle, contract extension, Justin St. Clair, contract extension, Chuck Chamelka, men's gymnastics, and Paul Klempa in bowling. All good coaches in their own right. Richly rewarded after really good years for all those programs, helping Nebraska to a really good Directors Cup finish.
To say that they're all top 10, right? The track is top 10 in the country, just from the number of national champions, conference champions, etc. That men's gymnastics has been a standard. It's been a North Star for all programs in the country to look at on how business is being done and how it's maintained over a period of time. And of course, bowling has been, as a matter of fact, Amara Spates came in today, and let me take, while we do this, let me take a moment to give her flowers. She's getting her grad degree in a month.
Nice.
And she has a job. She's moved to Chicago, but she's a part of the Husker student athlete pioneers. The folks who said, before Husker athletes were on doing shows, there's a collection of them who said, "You know what, DP, I'd like to be on your station. I'd like to tell my stories." Her and Glenn Mahea, Michaela Curtis. There are folks, Sunday Morning Pancakes with Nori and Brant Banks, CJ Wilcher, Kobe Webster. There are folks who stood up, which leads us to now and having the collection of student athletes that we have. And again, that little space near and dear to us, next to us in the Deuce, that will allow us to tell more Husker student athlete stories, let them tell their stories, and do that. So for all the coaches who are leading these young people, and to get extension, the extension is a sign that everything that you're doing, we see what you've done, and here's to what you're going to do. Because if you continue to do that at the level you are, success follows. And bravo to Troy Dannon and Husker Athletics and the university for having people worthy of extension, because not all are.
Right.
Not all are.
I think that's a good jumping off point, I think, in a conversation that I want to have with you here, DP. And it's because I've been kind of workshopping this, and I want to get your take on it.
Okay.
I in talking with Nick, with Strick, and with Jay throughout the course of the last week, these coaches in these sports that got these extensions today, again, certainly all deserving of it in their own way. But the job of an athletic director is not just to have the pulse of football and whatever your number 2 sport is. However many varsity sports you offer, you got to be in tune with somehow, some way. And again, this is not a knock on Troy Danon or any athletic director in Nebraska, past, present, or future, or across the country. But I think it's just a reflection of the day and age we're in with the House settlement, that I think there are project manager sports and there are performance review sports. That's kind of the framework I'm going to set this up to you as.
Okay.
And in the Nebraska example, the sports where Troy Danon feels like the project manager, where he's involved in a big way, he's at the forefront, speaking a lot about it, constantly in meetings, trying to be on the cutting edge, on the forefront of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
That to me feels like football and volleyball at Nebraska for good reason.
Okay.
Football we know, volleyball we know.
Okay.
And then I think about other sports. How often is Troy Danon, a football guy, is his reputation, been on all sorts of committees in college football? How involved is he? How willing is he to get into the nitty-gritty of men's basketball and women's basketball, the landscape of those sports, and help provide for Fred Hoiberg and Amy Williams? Will Bolt got his contract extension last year, 5 years. Again, I'm not anti-Will Bolt, not calling for a job, but it feels to me like that was a contract that was handed out, set it and forget it. Oh, they made a regional. They're probably good. I'll check in on them in January and in July. Where an athletic director is maybe more in tune, having more conversations, willing to put baseball in the forefront, says, here's a 3-year extension. I like what you did. I don't want to worry about it. I want you to worry about it. But we know that there's maybe more that we can do. So I want to have some more regular conversations. On and on and on down the list, where you have sustained success from Rhonda Revelle, from Mark Manning, from Justin St. Clair taking over the program that he did from Coach Pepin that's had so much success. You don't want an athletic director to micromanage. And sure, you have to pick and choose your spots sometimes. But I worry in the day and age of the House settlement that more and more of these programs that get smaller and smaller chunks of the revenue sharing pie only get checked in on every 6 months instead of getting the full focus they need and deserve.
I will say this, and I can't speak for Troy Danon, and I don't want to speak for the coaches under his watch, but I can reference conversations had, especially conversations had on air. Specifically, a week ago, Peter Cobelt, tennis, speaking specifically to Troy Danon and his decision to not cut resources to men's or women's tennis.
Mm-hmm.
How you do anything is how you do everything. How you manage anything. And if the priority and focus is Husker football, how you manage Husker football with all of its bells and whistles, all of its corners, all of its secrets, and then all of its loud character issue, right? That the personality of the program is loud. So it's hard to have secrets and it's hard to cover mistakes. But how you handle the 105 and the millions of dollars in the Husker football program is exactly how you set priority and precedence for the tennis program, right? Treat it the same way with 10% of the people and
100th of the budget.
Right. That you have to look at it the same way. Allow talented people in that space to be great. Also challenge them to be great, which is important, right? To not only say that because you are an Olympic sport, in air quotes, that you get a bypass. No, because it matters. It absolutely matters. You have to pay attention to the rifle program, to the Scarlets. You have to pay, right? That's a number. The band. You have to pay attention to
soccer.
All of
it was really good a couple of years ago. Can't let that slip,
right,
whatever.
Right. You have to pay attention to, and then what that allows is, because if you're not doing that right, and you don't allow Mark Manning to be Mark Manning in full, right? Allow him to make mistakes, because perfection is not what you're shooting for. You can't expect anybody to win every title, every conference title, every individual
every
title.
year, all the time.
You can't. But what you can do is allow them to be as great as they can be with some vision and plan for them being the best. You want to be the best, but you also understand, so does everybody else.
Right.
You have 18 power programs 17 programs you compete dollar for dollar, player for player, coach for coach, decision for decision. So 17 programs every year are going to fail. They're going to fail. Now, what you choose is to set your standard in the 18. I would listen. I've never been a coach that was okay with finishing down lower than I should, whatever that is.
But as a coach, you know that is based on your team, the circumstances around it.
And the conversations that happen between coaches and athletic directors is from 100% honesty. That's where where I got the quote, do I have your permission to tell you the truth? Because those were conversations that I had to have with athletic directors. I was a fixer. So it was my job to go into a program that was struggling or a program that was not achieving what it should. And then I had to say, do I have your permission to tell you the truth? Because not everybody wants to hear what's really happening. There are people that do business that want to know what they want to know. They don't want to know what they need to know. And there's a difference. There are fans that can be fans. Fans don't want to know everything. They want to know what they need to. They want to hear that they're going to be great, that they have a chance to win a title, especially when you've won titles. And if you have it, at some point you have to figure out why.
Yeah.
Why? And then the measuring stick is, this is what we said we were going to be, right? We're an academic institution of note, right? We're going to hold that standard. We're going to handle personality traits and social media and social decisions. Those need to be handled well, or not.
Or not.
Or not. There are programs where the athletic director says, listen, that's none of my business. Like, you manage your people, and the university will deal with the athletic director on whether it's representing the university.
And it's that point that I think makes my point, in that there are some sports and some programs at some university, they're different across the board, that you need to get out of the way. Where this coach says, no, I got it. You know, I'm good. I know the system. Where you'd have to check in, make sure the coach feels valued, respected, and that you know what's going on. And, you know, that can be maybe a young coach who's an up-and-coming expert who says, this is my realm of expertise. You just keep giving me the resources. I know what to do with it. It could be an experienced coach, a Mark Manning, a Rhonda Revelle, who says, maybe, potentially, but.
Think about it this way. This is, and I'll let you get back to your point, that I ask it all the time, what's at the top of the pyramid for Husker athletics? What is the thing that moves everything else? And if you're Will Bolt having that conversation with Troy Dannon, somewhere at the top of the pyramid, away from the bottom, away from the basics, is winning a Big Ten conference championship, right? It could be next side by side in two pillars, right next to winning a Big Ten regular season. It could be, you know what? Let's get to the NCAA tournament and win games. Maybe win a series. Maybe above that is winning a regional or hosting a regional, all of that. And that's different, because whatever you say to Will Bolt, you also have to say to Amy Williams and Fred Hoiberg.
You have to know how that plays in your athletic department.
Right. That for revenue businesses, for revenue streams, for revenue kiosks, you cannot be a hypocrite.
Right. They'll see it. They'll see
you can't say that, Will, you have to win a Big Ten conference championship. Well, Bolt's going to look around the room. There's 20 other coaches in here. Are they all doing that? The ones you just extended, have they all done that? So that whole pyramid thing matters. And that's what has to be detailed, shared, and amplified. What is the Austin Orman pyramid? Like, what's the most important thing? For some places, it is BYU. Oh, that honor code. Top of it, hey man, don't all the other stuff, because they think if we get the honor code right, we'll get all the other stuff right. Everything else will fall in line.
Everything else is downstream, not upstream.
Everything else works from that. Notre Dame, there's a certain code that falls in line of how you're going to do business. Harvard, Yale, Ivy School, top of this thing, different standard. What is Nebraska's standard? And sometimes in announcing these extensions, you're saying this is the standard. This is what we celebrate. This is what we amplify. This elevates us and puts us at the right location within the Big Ten and the nation. And that's what we're finding out.
We'll continue this conversation when we get back to Old School. He's DP. I'm Austin. This is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. More right after this.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's schwisow.com.
An award-winning softball season deserves a celebration. Don't miss your chance to congratulate Jordy Ball in person. Join the team at Midwest Bank for a special meet and greet on July 16th at their Jamie Lane location as they recognize her incredible achievements. Bring your friends, your team spirit, and your favorite gear for Jordy to sign, and it all kicks off at 4 p.m. They can't wait to see you there. Get all the details at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Hi, folks. The weather is for sure heating up, and Coppel Chevrolet GMC is following suit. The discounts are really as good as they've ever been. $14,500 off list price, or 0% financing on select new models. Folks, you heard that right. Smoking hot deals at Coppel. $14,500 off list price, or 0% APR. So take that short drive down 144th Street or at koppelcars.com. STK number G269520. All deals with trade-in and approved credit.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Fun sports conversations during Old School. Austin Orman and DP with you here for the next half an hour or so before Lighthouse, here Lighthouse Wednesdays on The Ticket. Lots to go over in college sports, especially in the House settlement era, what that looks like, how the pie gets split, not just monetarily, but in terms of the attention. And a couple of those programs that come to mind with me, DP, are Nebraska baseball, are Nebraska softball, right? Successful seasons in their own rights. We got a question during the baseball corner on Monday, and I haven't had a chance to address it on air, so I'll bring it up with you. Someone was asking, Oklahoma softball has capitalized a lot on, being in the state where the Women's College World Series is held. They've used that as a big recruiting tool. Why can't Nebraska baseball do the same thing with the College World Series being in town? I'll throw it to you first. How would you respond to that?
Well, I think the question requires some more detail. Because if and it's the conversation you and I were having on the break, that Oklahoma has figured out that for $2 million a year from wherever it came from, they can win softball championships. And if you said that to Nebraska fans and said for another $2 million a year, Nebraska can win softball championship, national championships, would you pay it? That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
What is that number in each sport?
Mm-hmm.
Would you pay it?
Yeah.
For whatever the number is in bowling, 100 grand in bowling, 50 grand in tennis, men or women's.
Maybe men's and women's for that matter.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We know that for basketball, Michigan is plus 5 million and they're not winning titles.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to go over and above that. But for Nebraska fans that have been thirsty, if you said $7.5 million gets you a Big Ten title and a national championship tournament win, I think they would raise money. If you said $2.5 million for women's basketball, I don't even know that that's a number, but I would have, at least in the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So figuring out what is possible and then what the standard should be is always when it comes to money, because the money exists. You can say it doesn't. Managing the money managing the money and managing people is the job of athletic directors. And it allows you to hold a different level of accountability to coaches. It allows you to have a different level of accountability for players, right? For student athletes to say, listen, if you're going to ask for it, Texas is letting you know. They want to say that people are coming to Texas not for money. The reality is
they come to Texas for money.
They come to Texas for money, and they're willing to be held accountable for it. They have a North Star in Arch Manning that lets them know that there is some responsibility that comes with the name and the money, right? And there are programs around the country. Again, Texas Tech said in softball, we're going to go get the best available. We can't get Jordy, so let's get this young lady. She comes down and she puts them on her back. Man.
Like 600 straight pitches, I think, for Texas Tech at one point.
If that young lady is also at Nebraska for $1.5 million with Jordy Ball, Nebraska has rings. Would it be worth it? Would it be worth it? And there are pitchers out there, there are players out there who can make the difference between Nebraska being who they currently are and who they want to be. Whatever that is, whatever that is. And there's a number. In college football, there is a number. Now, it is a much bigger number. It is a much bigger number with extra zeros. Would you, as a Husker fan, be okay with $25 million extra being poured into football to give Nebraska a legitimate chance to win a Big Ten title and be in the national tournament?
I really wonder how many Husker fans would vote on a resolution to divert more of their tax dollars to that.
Well,
we're already paying, so we're going to do that.
Well, but I think there are people that if you had the freedom to donate, and that the people who have those resources have already proven, $650 million didn't make them blink an eye to get an improved facility. Now, if you had said 4 years ago that $650 million could literally have helped you win every national title in sports if the money was allotted correctly over the course of 5 years, we all would have made a different decision. Or at least I think we would have. Am I wrong?
We'd like to think we would have made a difference.
Yeah, I'm not speaking for Husker Nation. I'm just asking the question because it is a question.
It is. And that's where, to your point on catching up, right? Nebraska to Michigan for that example. Right now, and I'll tie this back to that question about Oklahoma softball versus Nebraska baseball, is that Oklahoma softball has the Nebraska volleyball advantage. They got in on the ground floor of a sport, got good at it, maintained dominance, maintained dominance, and they're still there, right? They started pouring money into this before anyone else. They have a first mover advantage. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages to that. If you're the first one to do something, it doesn't work. You provide the model for someone else.
Well, they weren't first. They weren't first.
Not first, but closer to first, right?
Arizona did softball differently than the whole country.
Well, but that goes to my point, right? Nebraska volleyball wasn't first.
Right.
You had the West Coast. You had Stanford. You had Penn State before Nebraska. But again, you're closer to the cutting edge than trying to catch up. For every season that you fall behind, you add probably another zero. to that tally
Fair.
for what it takes to catch up to where you need to be to compete for that. So the advantage that Oklahoma softball has, for example, in hosting the Women's College World Series, that isn't the selling point. The selling point is we've been so good at this for so long that, number one, they have the donor base that allows them to keep these players around and to bring these players in. And I'm not saying Oklahoma is getting players on the cheap, but it's less of a cost for Oklahoma where that's A, ingrained into the culture, and B, where players might take a little haircut on the top to play with other great players, compared to, say, Nebraska football that has to catch up again, that has to pour more in. For Nebraska basketball that hasn't had that sustained success, that they have to pour a little bit more in just to get even, let alone to take that next step.
Wouldn't that be the same conversation to be had for Nebraska baseball?
Yes.
With Omaha.
Yes.
With the College World Series being here,
Mhm.
you're deeply ingrained in the culture.
Well, Omaha is. Nebraska baseball is not.
Well, but here's the thing. At some point, you have to make the move. Mark Manning made the move. He was close. He had proximity. Like he wasn't in the Final Four of wrestling every year, but he was close. Well, the leap happened through long work, and sacrifices. Now they're in they've got one of the penthouse suites, which means that one, you have to work hard to stay there because you had to work hard to get there. Now you got to work hard to stay there. And then if you ever want the penthouse, that means you have to put in more work than whoever's currently living
in the penthouse.
Right. Whoever's
They're
there.
on the 105th. You want to be at 110? You take more.
Right. And we know Oklahoma, look, Texas Tech looked them dead. They looked their neighbor right in the face and said, okay, Oklahoma, we got Texas money. We got Texas money. We know y'all like your money. But Oklahoma was looking across the street at Texas and football. They weren't paying attention. They weren't paying attention to what Texas Tech was doing because they thought, it's Texas Tech. Let them do the.
Who wants to go to Lubbock?
Right. Let them spend their money. It happens all over the place. Clemson went through this in football to create in this little podunk town in the middle of South Carolina, right? That this thing would happen and it would be vital. TCU did it with, magic. It was dry erase Sharpies, man. We still don't know what was on that magical board because they took the steps and they sacrificed. SMU is working right now.
Let me throw this to you, though. Jay and I were talking about this on Old School or on the block yesterday. SMU, I think, has positioned itself as a sneaky player for Nick Saban if he wants to come back to college.
Where else would you go? There's nowhere else for him to go.
Money, easier conference than the one he retired from.
Listen, he's either going to go to SMU or Texas A&M. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. If you're
Florida State?
No, why would you? You've got the Bobby Bowden ghost. Like you don't want that. You don't want to have Nick Saban doesn't want to manage 50 years of Seminole alumni. he just doesn't. He doesn't. If you said you could possibly consider Notre Dame, where there's some character standard attached to the program.
Saban is Catholic, by the way.
Right? That there are things that he's not going to have to deal with and that he can justify by living the right way as a means to not dealing with some of the BS. Right? And then the money. Notre Dame, its own contracts. SMU, more money than they would do with A&M, more money than them, and mad about it. But it also built Saban recruiting to Texas A&M.
Woo.
Have mercy on everybody. You're going to put him in Texas? You're going to put Nick Saban with money
in Houston,
in College Station. He's going to walk down the street and 5 stars are just going to be driving by on bicycles. Like, it's going to be crazy. So
you thought Jimbo's class was bad.
Oh, man. Look, for everybody they had before then, it is nothing compared to if Nick Saban walked into town and took over the reins. So I think those are the decisions, right, that everybody's figuring out now who they are. Not who they said they were, not who they wanted you to think they were. Everybody now knows in every sport, at every position, you know who you are. You know, as if you're a quarterback in a Power 4, you know who you are. And you know, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
But you also know there are guys outside the 64 who belong in the top 15, and they're going to get theirs.
Yeah.
We know that in baseball, if we said Nebraska needs 4 of the top 400 pitchers in America to win the Big Ten Conference, we're not telling a lie. We're literally not telling a lie. So how are you going to do it?
How do you get him here?
How are you going to do it? Nebraska was one player away in a key position from winning the softball championship. They were one player, and it could have been a number 2 pitcher. It could have been another hitter,
bats,
right in the space. Fred Hoiberg was 1.5 players away, right, from having
back-to-back NCAA tournament.
from having the season that he won. Amy Williams was one player away in a deep, talented Big 12, Big Ten conference, and it showed at the tournament that they were, oh my goodness, they are one consistent player away.
And that player might have already been on their bench wearing a brace.
Right.
Potentially.
Right. A variety of things in play. Right. But then you also now know that to go and get those 2 players from a program beneath Nebraska or a program equal to Nebraska where the player is unhappy where they are and it fits what Amy wants to do. Everybody now knows, wait a minute, this is doable. This is doable. To have Brett Prince figure out that, you know what, on the biggest stage with the biggest names in women's college basketball, she belonged.
I can hang.
She belonged. She was like, wait a minute, y'all. We thought we were coming here to their party. We out here dancing. We got a full dance card. This is what the state of the union, the state of the game is. And now Nebraska, again, can Nebraska get a better coach for what they want to do in Nebraska softball than Rhonda Rovell? No. Bowling? No. Track and field? No. Men's gymnastics? No. So you made the statement. For those that were in it, the ones we know versus the ones we think we know. Everybody now knows where they stand in Nebraska athletics, on the coaching staff. The players now know where they stand. And in those programs, the transfers can now exhale and make a decision, because I know that if I've got 2 years left, Rhonda Rovell is going to be here. I can make the move. If I'm a gymnast, and we know that men's gymnastics, they're one dude away. So here we go. We're in business. Track and field, much easier to recruit and get folks here. And then bowling, you're one legitimate middle of the 5 lineup bowler from winning a national title.
Again.
And and then the other programs. I loved your conversation with Nick about what Nebraska baseball could look like, and with the question of what it should look like. And that's what's happening with all the programs. We are 1 week away from watching the Parade of Stars in Las Vegas. And the best thing about Big Ten Media Day is that the measurements happen.
Yeah.
You get to see side by side. Oh my. That's what a national champion looks like. That's what a round 1 offensive lineman looks like. That's what a round 1 defensive line. Oh, that's what a number 1 receiver looks like. And you have to measure, and we get to see. We look at Nebraska's, and everybody else is in the Big Ten, and then you go, how do we feel about it?
Let's keep that conversation rolling. Big Ten Media Days, DP and I will be out there alongside Jay Foreman and Nick Sainert. Big thanks to the 6 companies who have stepped up to sponsor our trip out there. Really appreciative for that. Lucky to get to go. Vegas didn't get enough of me. Vegas called me back. So you know what?
Like Pookie, calling you to it, Austin.
That's what's happening. And we'll talk to the Big Ten Media Days to wrap up Old School right after this.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
An award-winning softball season deserves a celebration. Don't miss your chance to congratulate Jordy Ball in person. Join the team at Midwest Bank for a special meet and greet on July 16th at their Jamie Lane location as they recognize her incredible achievements. Bring your friends, your team spirit, and your favorite gear for Jordy to sign, and it all kicks off at 4 p.m. They can't wait to see you there. Get all the details at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Staying healthy and comfortable starts with the air you breathe. If you're noticing more dust, odors, or allergies, it could be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Pure Air starts with cleaner air ducts. Pair with enhanced filtration and purifications options, and the difference is amazing. When the air you breathe is clean and fresh, your home smells fresher, and your family is healthier. Time for cleaner air in your home? Call Bryant for a free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
When only the best will do. Sartor Heyman Jewelers.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
As promised, we'll wrap up Old School, some Big Ten Media Days talk over the next 8 to 10 minutes or so. Austin Norman, Derek Pearson with you here during Old School. DP, you've been around the Media Days for a while, and I'm appreciative of the chance to go for the first time. I'm a little bummed they moved it out of the house that Peyton and Andrew built. The year
you get to go. It's like, Austin's coming. Let's move it.
Vegas, we're going. We're doing it.
Let's move it.
You know what? I'll get over it at some point. But when you look at Big Ten Media Days, just overall, right, not just a Nebraska-centric perspective, what are you excited to see again? You mentioned the measuring stick of players that get off the bus. When you think Big Ten Media Days and showing up for those 3 days, what are you excited to see in here?
Austin in Vegas is high on the list. High on the list. It really is. Different, you and Nick, and the injection of new energy, going to the event and to kind of watch you be in that space. The coaches always are interesting, and to say that 18 of the top 50 coaches in America are going to walk in that building.
Yeah,
18 of the top 50, right? 18 top 60 maybe, but 50.
Mm-hmm.
That you're going to see of the 54 players, 42 of them are going to be drafted in the NFL. We're pretty sure 32 of them in the first 3 rounds. Right? And the measuring stick of how they walk, how they present, how they talk, there is an athletic arrogance that happens. Big Ten tournament conference media days, second only to the SEC, only because they're used to peacocking. The South is way more into the peacock than the Midwest schools. Even with the inclusion of the West Coast teams, there's still some.
And the Ohio State.
Right,
I mean,
there's
they're not afraid of it, but
but here's the thing: they've been given permission to expand and broaden their feathers because USC walks in the door. Michigan tells you we don't care. You know, I'm pretty sure Michigan comes in with a Pirates eye patch with an
Oregon might actually be wearing peacock uniforms at some point in the near future.
Right, they're going to come in with green and gold suits if they so choose. And then within that circle, that each player is letting you know who they are and who they think they are, right? To know that you're going to get. I mean, Luke Altmaier, this is not new to him. This is not. He's not walking in the door tiptoeing. Maryland sending 3 projected, first through third round picks. Ohio State sending 3 first-round picks. Rutgers with 2 players who are going to be in the top 4 rounds. Kaliak Manis has success. He can
look around the block.
Right, he can look people in the eye to see them come through the door. I want to see Northwestern. There's a guy I have connection to, Preston Stone, the quarterback from Northwestern. This was a guy that worked with me and Barry Thompson. So we've known his family for 8 years, and it's another kid to watch walk through the door in his way. Drew Aller is the matinee idol. Like, isn't he?
Probably.
He in Ohio State. Oregon, I'm not sure that whoever they bring.
Well, Dan Lanning is the attraction for Oregon, which I don't know how well that bodes for them.
That's a statement,
yeah.
right? That's a statement that the coach.
And that's nothing against Uiagalelei, the younger, but
and Billy Edwards Jr.
with Wisconsin now, with Maryland,
with Maryland looking them in the eye, right? And we get to find out who has leverage, right? Who feels better about that, Maryland or Wisconsin? And I think the answer has to be Wisconsin.
Maybe
I'm not sure. Well, Maryland's not bringing a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like that. I know that much. They're not bringing the quarterback. Whoever they got. How
big a year is it for Loxley?
I don't think I heard that conversation earlier. Loxley in the community is perfect for Maryland.
Yeah.
He's perfect for them. Now they do understand for the amount of money that's in play, the level of success. Maryland Athletics is a weird peacock, bro. It's a weird because it's
weird turtle-shaped peacock.
Yeah, it's DC, but DC removed. It's more DC adjacent.
More DC than Baltimore?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
College Park is still considered the DMV.
DC.
Baltimore is not considered the DMV.
Right. I said no if Maryland could draw from Baltimore and claim it, or if that was more Baltimore doesn't like Maryland claiming it, or how that works.
When they were good, they love Baltimore. Baltimore loves them. When they're not good, Baltimore, it's the cousin who didn't bring food to the cookout.
Gotcha.
Like, you just want to look at them and like, oh, here they come.
These guys.
Here they come. Here they easy. So, I mean, I think we get to see coaches. We know that which coaches we smile at the moment they walk in. We smile for whatever reason, good reason, bad reason. We smile. We know what it is. I want to see Ryan Day's walk this year. I want to see his walk this year.
Because I think he's supposed to be the headliner on day one. I mean, he's bringing Downs and Smith and even Sonny Styles. But I still feel like in terms of just coaches, if you just take the coaches, I feel like Ryan Day should be a bigger story than they think he's going to be.
He's the only story on day one.
Is he though? Because hear me out. Bielema has been chirping at the SEC. People like that. Cignetti has made himself a story. Now, it shouldn't be to Ohio State's level, but it's a college football playoff coach with a lot to prove. And I do think there's a lot of respect for Matt Rule among his coaching peers. So I think Ryan Day finally has some competition up at that level, even if he should be the peacock strutting story.
It is, oh, you're here. You're key. Go ahead and enjoy people. Go ahead and entertain people in the lobby, in the hotel lobby. but your key doesn't go to my floor. Signetti, go ahead and talk your talk. I'll see you. I'll see you when I get back to the lobby. Because I'm going someplace you can't go. Like I get that we know that there are 4 programs that have a different presence, and then 4 that at least get considered respect. Everybody else, I mean, you put Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Penn State in the, you know what? We came to hear you. Like, we came to see you, the whole thing. Then you get into the others, USC, UCLA. You could say we're curious about Wisconsin. Curious?
Yeah.
Question mark. Indiana, because of what they did. And then Illinois wants to be in that other room. I'm not sure they know that they can demand to be there. Everybody else wants it. You're looking, oh, what do they have on their buffet? Like they're getting, they got the best floor.
And you know where Bielema met his wife, right?
Yeah, well.
We're back where it all began for the Bielemas, DP.
That's funny. That is so funny.
And I don't mean that in any other way other than they factually met in Las Vegas. I'm saying nothing more than that.
That's funny. But Bielema fits everywhere. He belongs everywhere. I think that's fair. A fair statement.
I think that's true. DP, appreciate you sitting in.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me.
One-on-one tonight. What you got?
One-on-one. Peter Cobalt.
There we
Husker
go.
Tennis, 7:00. But Lighthouse is up next. Let them handle their business.
Bill Mitchner and Lighthouse coming up next. For DP, I'm Austin. Big thanks to the Mercado for certified Piedmontese. On Block and Old School. Back with you tomorrow, starting at 3.
Keep summer green with Judson Bylene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Staying healthy and comfortable starts with the air you breathe. If you're noticing more dust, odors, or allergies, it could be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Pure Air starts with cleaner air ducts. Pair with enhanced filtration and purifications options, and the difference is amazing. When the air you breathe is clean and fresh, your home smells fresher, and your family is healthier. Time for cleaner air in your home? Call Bryant for a free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
This July, Acres is celebrating the birth of our nation. The fireworks include the opportunity to save big with great pricing on our late model John Deere ag equipment. Plus, you can lock in interest rates as low as 1.9% on select used John Deere planters, tractors, sprayers, and combines. Red hot rates combined with our explosive discounts make July the perfect time to buy and save. Don't wait. These deals won't last long. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer July 31st, 2025. Some approved financing. Offer may change anytime without notice.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation